We've had it in the NFL a couple different times where players, because of the ability to track everything that's happening on all these apps and different family members potentially signing in and on premises, these bets taking place, guys have gotten caught. There's been a year-long ban. Now, we believe it's the reason why it's a year-long ban and not a eternal ban is because they weren't betting on their own teams to lose. That's happening in the NBA, and what all do we know about this situation? Is the NBA scared that there's more to this than just Jontay Porter, or do they think that this is all that it is?
Well, I don't think the investigations are over, and even outside the NBA. But the NBA got enough to act here. So he did, according to the league, he did at least three things that, even if any one of them, would have probably got him banned. One, he obviously appeared to alter his own performance for a bet, which is in this case, he took himself out of a game where he said he was sick, and there was major action, including a seven-figure bet that ended up, a parlay that ended up not being paid out, and on basically built around him not playing. So that's number one. He altered his own performance. Number two, he communicated with gamblers about inside information with the team, which is a huge no-no in the NBA, and these players are told repeatedly about it because, especially in the NBA, player availability in an individual game is humongous information and often is kept secret even when it's known. So even though the NBA has changed their rules to more mimic the NFL in recent years to try to get more accurate and timely injury information, and they've even fined some teams for not accurately doing it, one of the holes in the NBA's system, in my view, is there's at least several dozen people know that a star player is not going to play in the afternoon, and the player is listed as questionable. Sometimes it's listed as doubtful, and they've gotten better with that. But we see all the time star players listed as questionable, and then they're out. And so a player who is competing in with gamblers with inside information, big no-no. So that was strike two. Strike three, obviously, wagering on the NBA. And in this case, wagering on his own team. Now,
to lose, says, Windy, to lose.
Right. Well, and look, the Raptors, I think, lost like 20 of their last 23 games. Betting against the Raptors wasn't exactly an outrageous position. But I will say, you know what's crazy about this to me? And I don't know Jontay. I've never met him. The Raptors were tanking after the middle of the season. They traded away a couple of their star players. They were highly incentivized to go way down because their pick, if it was lower than 6 or lower, they kept it. If it was 7 or higher, it went to San Antonio. So they were highly incentivized to lose. And as a result, they traded away star players. There was a couple of other unfortunate situations where there were players who had deaths in their families, and they were away from the team. And so players, like at the end of the bench and two-way players, were getting opportunities to play and show themselves to the rest of the league. And Jontay was getting those chances. This is a guy who his story is actually kind of an inspiring story. He blew his ACL twice in college, tore his ACL, then was recovering, tore it again within a year. Then he was in the league for a cup of coffee 2 years ago and out of the league for 2 years. This is a common story. A guy gets a chance, doesn't make it. We never see him again. Next thing you know, whatever happened to that guy? Well, he's playing in Lithuania. He's playing in Australia. He's playing in China. This guy now got back to the league. And now he's playing because his team is tanking. And he actually was having a couple of good games. One of the reasons why the sportsbooks were putting prop bets up was because he was having games where he had 10 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. He was actually potentially keeping himself in the league. And for him to take that situation and spike it by spiking his own games, that's stunning to me. Like I said, I don't know him. I don't know his personality, but that's one of the most fascinating things about this story.
Amen. And it turns out that he was only allegedly $21,000. Okay, $21,000 net positive in gambling, 50-some thousand. But then you think about that $80,000 wager.
Yes.
That turned into $1 million. The sports book goes, $1 million, huh? One night? Okay. Yeah, we're going to talk about this. They say pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered. It's like in this particular case, way too alarming. Like, it's also dumb. Not only is it like illegal and all these other things that you could potentially throw at. It's incredibly dumb the way they went about doing it. It just, all of it's stupid, and I guess no league is above these types of situations taking place, but the stern punishment will hopefully be enough for the NBA guys to realize that this is something that can't happen, as the NFL has tried to do this, and the MLB, with Shohei and his translator, they've had to deal with it. It's like, sports gambling is going to be around, but we can't let it destroy our leagues that we love, because then everything's gone. And
I will say this. The league can say, we caught this pretty fast. Maybe we don't know everything about it, but they caught it pretty fast. Within about 48 hours of this second event, they had him already sort of deactivated, career basically pulled the plug on him. And they would never say this, but he's kind of a perfect player to make an example of. With all due respect, no one's going to miss him.
All due respect. Yeah.
Well, he bet against his own team.
His brother's going to miss him. His brother's going to miss him.
His brother's going to disown him. He bet against his own team. You think about, no team wants to sign a guy that's betting against his own team.
No.
Nobody wants that. I mean, you're right. That is not a bad situation to make an example out of him. But the example needs to be made so that people don't, this can't happen. As sports media members, okay, and sports fans, this can't happen. All these leagues can't get ruined by this. While sports gambling is coming in, even though we love sports gambling, like we enjoy it.
Love it.
We think you got to do it responsibly. You got to be smart. You got to be of age. And the legalized sports gambling has regulated it so much to protect people from themselves. Hopefully. That is the goal in the end of this whole thing. But it can't ruin the leagues. And I think we're all on the same page. Good news. AJ has a question for you. Wendy, our Ohio chief.
Yes, Wendy, I moved the Olympics. So the rosters came out. It's official now. What do you think of the rosters? What do you think our chances are of just running through the competition over there? And also, does anyone have a valid argument that you think got left off the team?
Well, we're not going to run through it because I'm telling you.
Oh, Wendy, you.
I'm on fire. It's NBA,